Hello everybody, my name is KingStix, and in this video we're going to be looking at the 10 worst champions in League of Legends right now in patch 9.3. Most of these champions have been very weak for a considerable amount of time, however, several of them have recently gone from god tier to absolute crap tier in the span of a couple of patches. Every single one of the champions on this list is pulled directly from League of Graphs, and their win rate is an average of every single region, so the very worst champion in one region may not necessarily be the very worst champion in another region. Something to also keep in mind is these stats are taken from roughly platinum elo, meaning these players have all around decent micro, but their thought process and their macro isn't necessarily that great. At number 10 on our list, we have a champion that you might not believe. Number 10 on our list is extremely popular and will most likely come as a surprise to most of you, and that is Ezreal. Right now, Ezreal has a 46% win rate with a high 25% pick rate. Once again, that pick rate has been averaged out through all the regions. In regions like Korea and NA, his pick rate is closer to 50%. The reason why Ezreal's win rate is so low is because of his overall popularity. It's also because many people who pick Ezreal are auto-filled AD carry. Not to mention that crit items have gotten a lot better. Crit AD carries are starting to become better than Ezreal, and Ezreal just really can't carry that hard in the late game. He's more of a support styled AD carry. Personally, I try to ban Ezreal or encourage somebody else to because I hate having him on my team. It seems like every time I do, we just don't have an AD carry. All we have is a really crappy AD mage that fires off a few low pack skill shots every now and then. However, I'm not going to tell you straight up not to play him. If you are an Ezreal one trick or if you're auto-filled AD carry, sure, but if that's not the case, please don't pick him, especially right now since the crit items got so much better. Number 9 on our list, we have a bit of a forgotten champion, and that is Trundle. Currently, he's played most in the jungle, so we're going to be focusing on that. Right now, if you cannot red buff level 2 gank or pressure a scuttle crab, you're not a good jungler, and that is exactly what Trundle is suffering from. After his nerfs, he really struggles in early 1v1s, even against people like 𝐒𝐿𝐴 in the early levels. He just can't seem to take. So Trundle has to give up way too much control as a jungler. Not to mention, he plays best against tanks since his ultimate allows him to steal a portion of their health as healing, and their armor and magic resist as well. And since jungle tanks aren't that amazing right now, Trundle is still hiding in the dark a bit. If the tank jungle meta comes back, then we definitely will see Trundle come back as a bit of a niche counter pick. But in the meantime, he's sitting on a 46% win rate with a meager 1% pick rate. So not even the Trundle mains can keep this champion alive. Just don't touch him, he's not worth it. He offers very little to no CC, he has no proper gap closer, and the main form of his tankiness relies off of the enemy team needing a super tank. He is a very unreliable champion, not a good tank because of the lack of tankiness and CC, and he's just not what you want in a jungler or in a tank right now. Number 8 on our list, we have an LCS favorite, and that is Galio, sitting on a crap 46% win rate and a 3% popularity. He is definitely not what you want in a solo queue environment. He is highly reliant off of team play, and if they do not create any situations for you to ult into or to make plays off of, he's really very shit. He's melee, he's easy to catch out of position, and his only way to escape you can stop by just getting close up behind him. I'm not going to say that Galio is the worst champion in the world, but once again, in solo queue guys, he is definitely on the top 10 worst champions you can pick right now, especially as a mid laner. However, if you are duo and your duo is a high damage person like an AD carry, hyper carry jungler, or a hyper carry top laner, sure, go ahead and pick Galio and pill for them. If not, pure solo queue, just avoid picking him, he's not worth it. At number 7 on our list, we have a mild hyper carry support that has been nerfed countless times since the pro play tends to abuse him, and that is Recon. Sitting at a 45.9% win rate and only a 2% pick rate, Recon is really struggling right now as a support character. Many of you are probably wondering how that can be since Recon has a busted kit. He has massive mobility, insane CC. He has potentially 2 5-man area of effect crowd controls, very difficult to deal with. Since the pro players can take advantage of his mildly difficult kit, Riot has drastically nerfed the speed of Recon Rakan's grand entrance, his W, to the point where he can't really hit you with it, especially in lane phase, unless you're already CC'd or unless you're really just that bad, because it's that slow. Even without boots, it's pretty easy to dodge. If you're looking to play a high impact melee support, you'd be much better off playing Pyke or Alistar. At number 6 on our list, we have a very interesting champion, extremely niche, which is Varus. He's seen some really good times, but more often than not, he's just considered a very shit AD carry. Sitting at a low 45% win rate with a 1.8% pick rate, Varus is a no-brainer crap champion. He's only good in the mid lane whenever tier or corruption potion is out of control, and he's only good in the bot lane when corruption potion or when lethality are just busted. That way you can go into lane phase, poke enemies down with corruption potion, and build lethality, wrecking them with his Qs. The only other way Varus AD carry is viable is if Rageblade is stupid strong. Otherwise, he's just a really shitty version of 𝐒𝐿. There's no real reason to play Varus unless any of the said things I just mentioned are valid, and currently they are not, so just don't touch Varus. He's not worth it. At number 5 on our list, we have another LCS favorite, and that is Azir. Sitting at a low 45% overall win rate with only 1% popularity. Yes, only 1.6% popularity. Azir is basically a dead champion. He's terrible in solo queue. He is highly reliant off of your team following up on his Shurima shuffles, and if they don't, well, he's crap. Lane phase isn't easy for Azir because of how weak he is. The mid game isn't easy for him, and the late game isn't. If you're playing Azir, you're playing him for one reason only, and that's because you believe he is fun. In theory, yes, Azir has a strong kit, long range, high sustained damage. The issue is the pro scene abused him to his limits, forcing Riot Games to nerf him to his bones. Azir definitely deserves a buff, that way he can be played in solo queue, but at the same time, if they do that, then in the pro scene, he's just too gosh darn strong. Stay away from this champion if you are playing in solo queue 100%. At number 4 on our list, we have a champion who was an absolute pick and ban menace for pretty much all of the last quarter of Season 8, for all of preseason, and a small little part of Season 9. Can you guess that champion? I'll give you a hint. He used to be able to play top lane, mid lane, and jungle, and for a couple of months, even AD carry. And he has potentially 3 knockups at level 1. Do you know who it is? That's right, it's Aatrox. With a shit 45.1% win rate and only 3% popularity now, Aatrox is taking a bit of a step back into retirement and will soon see the grave altogether unless they revert the change which allowed him to lifesteal off of minions and monsters. Now he can only lifesteal off of champions. Or at the very least, they're gonna have to bring back a second dash charge. Now that he only has 1 dash charge and an all-in, it can be quite difficult for him to secure a kill unless he lands all 3 knockups, which is increasingly more difficult since he doesn't have the second dash to help him position the tip. At number 3 on our list, we have a champion whose W is by far the best ability in his whole kit and arguably much better than a lot of champions' ultimates. And that champion is Tamer Kench with his Devour. He was far too powerful in the pro play for far too long, simply because of his W. If the enemies ever pinned down his AD carry and it was going to be a kill, Kench can instantly make his AD carry invulnerable and untargetable by eating them, which is a very fast ability, and then quickly running them out of distance and spitting them out in the opposite direction towards the rest of his team. Kench was so busted that even in solo queue he was unstoppable. For a decent chunk of time, the rank 1 in Korea was a Tamer Kench main with an insane win rate, taking Glacial Augment every single game. With the amount of insane damage, utility, and safety that Tamer Kench provides, Riot had no choice but to nerf him into the ground, and I will say that the Kench is benched and hopefully he stays that way. At number 2 on our list, we have the blue man himself, the god of all reworks, and that is Ryze. I think he's been officially reworked 4 times now, where they've pretty much completely changed his kit to operate in a different manner. Ryze is really hard to balance since his whole concept is throwing tons of shit at you all at once. So as you can imagine, if he's slightly too strong, he'll just turret mode you and obliterate you instantly. Or if he's too weak, just throw shit and it doesn't do anything, which is pretty much where we're at right now. He takes way way too long to scale, he doesn't have that much CC, and he's not very useful. Most mages have a form of AoE CC or an extremely strong ability. All of his abilities are kind of mediocre. One of the final nails in Ryze's coffin nerfed his W's root duration when the enemy was marked with flux, changing it from 2 seconds root down to 1.5 seconds root. That might not seem like much, but with Ryze, every ability counts. That extra half a second gave him an opportunity to get off 1 or 2 more spells before his enemies were able to run away or juke. In the pro play, however, he was far too strong because of his ultimate, which allows him and his team to teleport to a nearby location in the matter of seconds, which could easily allow him and his team to pick up cheeky objectives like Baron or Dragon just going over a wall, or it could even allow his team to take a turret and inhibitor and then immediately teleport himself, his team, and the minions to the next nearby enemy turret and take it down as well. It's because of this that Ryze is unplayable in solo queue, because whenever he is good in solo queue, he's just out of control in the pro scene, non-stop picking ban. I will say though, if you are in high challenger or if you have insane micro with very high patience, Ryze is still a viable pick since he scales very well. The trouble is trying to get him into the mid late game without falling behind at all. And the #1 worst champion in League of Legends right now, patch 9.13, is 𝐒𝐿𝐈 at a 43% win rate. With 2% popularity, 𝐒𝐿𝐈 is officially a dead champion. Yes, Riot, you've done it. Your amazing rework on 𝐒𝐿𝐈 that made her invisible to turrets was a colossal failure. She suffered from over a 70% ban rate for many months, to the point where you were forced to nerf her into the actual ground. Instead of reverting her, you're leaving her in the ground for who knows how long. Hopefully you've learned from your mistake and you will revert her, or at the very least, take away the stun on her ultimate. I can't say that I miss 𝐒𝐿𝐈 as a champion. Even before her rework, she was pretty cancerous since her dash was point and click, and then after the rework, she was even more cancerous, just in different ways. She's still suffering from a 15% ban rate on average, which is pretty freaking funny that the worst champion in the game has that high of a ban rate. Bottom line, guys, stay away from 𝐒𝐿𝐈. Do not waste your time on her. She's absolute crap right now. If any of you are 𝐒𝐿𝐈 mains, let me know what you think about her down in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you have to say. And that goes for any of you who main these champions. If you want to give me a piece of your mind, go at it. I'm interested to see what you have to say down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Also, don't forget to join our quarterback team and help us take down pants or crap. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.